It's a very difficult week in the NFL streets. Rich Hribar and I are going to give our 5 favorite picks against the spread. We are going to later in the show make our survivor pick, toss in some picks over on Underdog Fantasy as well. One Mr. Rich Hribar, welcome to the program. Sir, how are you doing? How was week one?
It was a mixed bag. I had a really good betting week in terms of player props. I had a solid fantasy week, and then I had a terrible week, kind of in DFS. So we're looking to find the marriage of the three.
Man, Reeves, my number one pick from last week. I don't really complain about bad beats all that often. That's not really the purpose of this show. It's a forward-thinking show. Losing the Baltimore Ravens as the favorite against the Bills, I did not deserve that.
You
That
did
should have
it.
been
You did it.
that should have been so clearly the right pick. The Baltimore Ravens are an absolute Death Star of a team in the regular season. And actually, I mean, we'll probably talk about this a little bit later, but AFC really couldn't be more wide open right now. So if you're new to the show, this is what we do. Reeves and I, super contest style, we pick our 5 favorite games against the spread, descending from our least favorite to our most favorite. Rich, you can have the table first for your 5th game against the spread. Go for it.
It was very tough this week to kind of find 5, and
Yeah, it is tough.
these last two, I think, are pretty gambles. The other, my other my top 3 are literally my formula for that is just a pick like early in the season teams like I'm betting the long game on that I just think are better teams. But
Yes.
these first two, I'm gonna take a shot on some underdogs.
All right,
So
let's go.
I'm gonna start with the Bears at +6.5 in most spots. I do think this game is interesting from like our DFS stacking purposes, and like the Lions maybe potential flop lag stuff is pretty interesting. I didn't like anything John Morton did in week 1, but when we watched the game last night, it's like how much influence was Packers defense, right? Like Packers defense, these opening 2 games looked pretty legit, and they made Jaden Daniels have the worst game of his career last night in terms of like almost any efficiency metrics. Maybe we just look back on week 1 and say, hey, it was a first time play caller against a really good defense, and he calibrated and figured some stuff out. But I like the other side of the coin here from Kelvin Shepard taking over for Aaron Glenn, because while John Morton did nothing that Ben Johnson did, and it's really frustrating to see these guys that were internal hires and like watch stuff that worked and they're like, you know what, I'm not gonna do any of that. But Kelvin Shepard was the opposite. Like he was like they structurally did like all the same stuff Aaron Glenn did. Like he blitzed at the 3rd highest rate. He played man coverage on 50% of the passing snaps. That was a league high. And then that gives us a chance to just create some explosives, right, against the Ben Johnson offense. I thought Ben Johnson did some good things early. We saw some old Caleb pop up, but also Brian Flores got in his bag the second half of that game against the Bears. So I think we're going to get some explosives from the Bears. I'm just looking to try to hang around here and think that this game is a little bit tighter than the current spread, entails. And hopefully I can just get it within like a field goal and potentially even like 5 or 6. So that's really it, man. I'm just hoping that they keep it tight.
All right, man. Hot take. I actually had the Chicago Bears as my number 3 on
Okay.
this list.
All right.
I know that a lot of the conversation that came out of that game that they played in primetime against the Vikings was, oh, same old Caleb, all he's doing is freelancing. He's having issues mechanically. It's same old Bears. Ben Johnson hasn't fixed anything. It's so funny. It depends on the source you get your tape analysis from, right? Because some of the tape guys are like, oh, buddy, don't watch the all 22 on Caleb. It's brutal. And then some of the guys who are generally more measured, like Kurt Warner, had some kind things to say about Caleb. And look, if I go down on the sword of being pro Caleb Williams over the course of his career and he ends up never being better than like the 19th quarterback in football, so be it. I've certainly died on dumber hills. But I think 2 of the things from that game against the Vikings on Monday night made me feel pretty bullish. The first was quarterback rushing, Reeves, is way up in the NFL after 1 week. Scramble rate is up 100% year over year. Now, the scramble rate includes literally everyone, right? So it went from 5.8% of dropbacks to 7.6% of dropbacks. Again, 1 week sample, and there's going to be, but I did this analysis based on everyone, right? So this includes Joe Flacco. This includes Matt Stafford. I didn't try and isolate it. And then you start to think, okay, like, well, what would be driving that? Why would quarterback scramble rate be up so far? And it's so evident why it is, which is that if the defense is doing everything they can to take away explosives, the safeties are 30 yards off the line of scrimmage. You've got, in many cases, number one options are being bracketed. Well, there's just going to be acres and acres of space, and any quarterback that is willing to take advantage of that is just going to have a higher success rate on offense. That is number one. Caleb was awesome scrambling. He was happy to do it. The other thing is my sense of the Chicago Bears offense was that the issue, particularly in the second half, was that Caleb was just afraid to pull the trigger. He saw some stuff, didn't pull the trigger because I'm sure
Well, it's Brian Flores, man. Dude, there was a lot of, in the defensive film guys are a lot smarter than this. I saw like Ben Solak had some stuff, who's great if you follow him. But Brian Flores, like, really, because he played really passive defense in the first half. And then really kind of, like I said, he started to get really exotic in the second half of that game. And then I think that's what, really kind of confused, Caleb Johnson.
We forget it. Somehow we forget every year that Brian Flores is like just an absolute mastermind. I saw some of the Packers doing the same stuff yesterday, this incredible stuff yesterday and Gretsch wrote about this in Ceiling Signals, where the defensive front is being shifted over to the strong side right as the offense is about to snap the ball. It's just very confusing, particularly on running plays.
What every Madden player did 10 years ago.
What every Madden player did 10 years ago. And I also think Ben Johnson is going to have some really awesome counter punches here. I'm not calling for the Chicago Bears to win this game outright, but I'm just going to kind of actually.
I think like tight division game. It's just like I said, I'm taking a shot on the 6.5 here, just being too wide. Yes. I like the Lions to kind of bounce back too as well. This is a game I'm going to stack in DFS too in the single entry stuff. I really love Rome Odunze in this game as the Bears piece to bring back. He did operate kind of as like the first read, like true lead wide receiver. And it was only 1 week. It could definitely oscillate, and we could see DJ Moore do some stuff too. But he was targeted on 75% of his routes against man coverage. Like in the shot plays, I think are going to be his in this offense. So definitely looking at Rome from a DFS stance if you're doing like the Gibbs or like your Amon-Ra's or you're getting on the line stuff.
Yeah. First read stuff. I mean, you don't particularly love to see this. Olamide Zaccheaus with a 33% first read target share in the offense, but Rome number 2 behind him. DJ Moore a little bit more of the outlet there. I probably have a grosser one, Reeves. Probably one that you're going to reject outright
in that game.
Number 5. No.
Oh no. Oh, your pick. I'm sorry.
for my pick. My pick, Reeves, is the New York Footballing Jets against.
Yeah, they're my 4, so you can go for it. 5. We'll tie them in together. That's my. It's another similar take.
It's very similar. I thought one of the most encouraging things I saw from just football might be a little bit better this year than it was last year because we have one more offense that is going to err on the side of being good or at least reasonable. Was that the Jets didn't just make Justin Fields a point and click. They didn't say, if you make a mistake, we are going to run the ball on first, second, and third down so hard. Like, they let him make some deep throws. They let him get out of the pocket. What's Tanner Engstrom, I believe, is the name of the offensive coordinator who came over with Aaron Glenn from the Detroit Lions. He basically put Fields in a position where it was like, if you're going to make a mistake, you're going to make a mistake and you can live with that.
What a concept of calling an offense around your quarterback's strengths and weaknesses. Like, what a concept.
Feels like no one ever does that anymore. But like, you can kind of highlight the pluses and the minuses of that all in 2 plays. The first touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson was. The Steelers would have never let Justin Fields make that play. And honestly, the Bears probably would have preferred for Justin Fields to have never made that throw down the field to Garrett Wilson. Then Justin Fields cost them the game by not running on what was it, a 3rd and 5 when he threw it to Garrett Wilson and got Garrett Wilson blown up. But I think ultimately where I landed with the Jets is they're going to do a good job of building their offense around their 3 best players, Fields, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson. The defense is going to be pretty fine. And the offensive line was absolutely road grading. Just beat the crap out of the Steelers front 7 that entire game. And I think offensive line solidity, very important. Also, Ed Oliver, not going to play against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills struggled with run defense a good bit last year. This just feels like Jets 6.5 at home, kind of depending where you can get. Let's see, where is the best? 6 might be about the best you can get. Looks like on some of the you can get 6.5. You can get 6.5 at FanDuel. So there you go. Yeah, Jets 6.5. I quite like.
So my take on this is, if you're taking the Jets as like large underdogs, they play the style of football you want for large underdogs. They're going to try to run. They want to run the ball, play tight. Like, they're going to play tight games. I'm very curious to see too, how aggressive, like if Tanner Engstrand takes a lot over and Aaron Glenn brings a lot over from the Dan Campbell philosophy, right? Like, how aggressive are they going for fourth downs, fourth and shorts, right? That's something too I want to see. But anytime you're taking like a run heavy team with a lot of points, it's probably going to be a tighter game and low scoring. So I'm also not scared of this game for fantasy for like the main pieces, because even if this game is like 23-17 or like 23-20 or 20-17, it's like both quarterbacks play the style of football that can still score fantasy points in that environment. That's why I still like, Josh Allen and Justin Fields in this game. If I am scared about one thing, it's the Aaron Glenn side, right? Because Aaron Glenn can't help himself. He did it again in week 1. Listen, you don't play aggressive defense against Josh Allen. Like, there was a stat last year I was dropping like the whole year. Like, he didn't have a touchdown pass against zone coverage like week 10 last year. And Aaron Glenn, when they played Josh Allen, when the Bills went to Detroit, like, dude, he sent all the dogs at Josh Allen. He blitzed him 51% of the time. He faced man coverage at a high rate just once last year. They blitzed Allen 38% of the time. And Josh Allen went absolutely nuclear. In that game against man coverage, he was 13 of 18, 11 yards per pass attempt. Against the blitz, he cooked them. And on Sunday night, when the Ravens did the same thing, Josh Allen cooked against man coverage, 11.2 yards per pass attempt. So like, that's where you kind of worry if you get in trouble, is if like Aaron Glenn just reaches in the cookie jar too far. But the takeaway like that you had was the same as me. Like, the Bills defense looked outright slow. And not only did they look slow, they were put in hell all game by the RPO and the outside zone run game. The only player that had more outside, or that Derrick Henry had more outside zone runs the last week, was Breece Hall. So like, they're going to see the same shit. Like, now that could be a pro because they just faced it and struggled, and they say, hey, we calibrate, we just seen this. Or it could be terrible that the Jets look at that and they say, like, you couldn't stop any of that. Let's make sure you could stop it. And then the loss of Ed Oliver potentially being huge. He was the second highest graded interior run defender in week 1. He was by far the best player on the Bills defense in that game. So it's just like, you're just hoping to catch like the 6.5. I definitely don't believe the Jets beat the Buffalo Bills. It's just hope the run game keeps it close and that you just are within a touchdown.
Well, yeah, just a low volume game between the two teams. I think that you can see it pretty easily. All right, that was your 4.
Yep.
So we are now to my 4. This one, I have a feeling you're just going to think that this is downright bad. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers on the road minus 3 points against the New Orleans Saints. All due respect to Spencer Rattler, Kellen Moore, and the New Orleans Saints. First off, we've seen many times Kyle Shanahan can kind of just make chicken salad out of chicken shit at quarterback. The guy's covered a bunch of spreads with Nick Mullins. Who was the guy from the University of CJ Beathard from the University of Iowa? Beat hard, yes. Mac Jones, obviously rumored to be Kyle Shanahan's preference at pick 3 way back in the day when they traded up for Trey Lance. Then
manifest destiny.
He got bullied out of selecting McCorkle Jones and had to take Trey Lance because mainstream media bullied him into it. I know the 49ers are kind of like the Walking Dead right now. George Kittle is out. George Kittle probably is worth a point or half a point, in terms of a spread. But the Saints are just a sort of a devoid of talent roster. The 49ers, I think, are still pretty significantly better than them. I know the Saints are really banged up. And I actually liked what Kellen Moore did against Arizona a little bit. Like, I think leaning into the pass with that grouping, and I think, rotating Olave and Shaheed out of the slot, taking what the defense gives you. Like, I don't think it is bad that Spencer Rattler had 48 dropbacks last week, actually. And the Saints might end up being a little bit more feisty than the market anticipated coming in. But I feel as if there's a larger market reaction right now to be like, oh, well, the Saints or the 49ers are dead, right? I think they actually sort of handled themselves well against the Seahawks. I mean, I actually don't know. Let me pull it up right here. I wonder what the line history is in this game. I wonder how much it moved when it went.
Oh, it was
40.
probably open. Yeah. Let me see. I probably have it because I have the insiders.
Normally when you click right here, there we go.
It was 7.
Yeah.
It was 7
So is the difference from Purdy to Mac Jones
against the Saints.
does that deserve to go through 3 key numbers?
They lost a defender too. Julian Blackman is having shoulder surgery, so they already had a bunch of changes on the back end already coming into this year. So they're down a defender. It might not matter because it's just Ricky Pearsall in the passing game, but they're down a guy.
I mean, it feels like the 49ers, feels like that's just you want to talk about manifest destinies, that the 49ers are just going to lose a key player every
week. I love the memes where it's like Christian McCaffrey as like the Scarlet Witch or as Shang Tsung. He's just like, the reason Christian McCaffrey is able to stay healthy is he's stealing all the health from the other guys.
Yes. Yeah. No. What
we got to look into the sports science division in San Francisco because this is a multi-year thing.
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, this has been going on for multiple staffs, right? The staffs have changed. It never seems to get all that much better. But basically, this is one, like a quarterback thing. Like I actually think Mac Jones is probably better than Spencer Rattler anyway. And 2, it's just an overall talent thing. Like the New Orleans Saints just do not have 1 through 48 of their active guys. They are just so much less talented than even this really degraded version of the 49ers. And maybe I'll end up looking really stupid and the 49ers won't be able to get anything going on offense. I obviously am betting against it. So I have the 49ers as my 4.
I actually think I should have had this one though, after looking at it with only being a field goal. Like, I think you take your chances for sure, because what you like about the side of this that really didn't get hurt for the 49ers is the defense. And Robert Saleh coming back was a huge deal.
Huge.
And them, only giving up the 13 points to Seattle was like, that's a pretty good signal for week 1, because they were playing like 6 rookies. Like 6 rookies are rotating into the defensive side of the ball. So like Robert Saleh coming back and having that showing on the road in Seattle against, Clint Kubiak, maybe the familiarity played a role into it, but you're not scared of this, like the Saints offense, like putting up 20 points. You're just not. So yeah, I kind of think about factoring that in, it probably should have been, because it could be just a meandering game, right? Where the 49ers went like 20-10, something like that. And then you're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a ton though. Like, how do you feel about I don't know if you need Mac Jones this week.
No, I love Mac Jones in DFS this week.
You can just run the double, right? Like, don't you just play Mac Jones with Pearsall and CMC?
Yes. There's absolutely no reason.
You get every touch. Like, you're just going to get every touch.
Like, you might get 20 PPR points of just completions in that stack. Like 20 receptions between Pearsall and CMC.
MVS and Russell Gage, and who we're going to see Kendrick Bourne, I think, play. Especially him joining because he knows the offense. They ran 34 routes combined. It didn't even have a target. Like, I mean,
is that really that surprising?
And MVS has been our true cardio king for a long time. A number one exerciser. And Marcus Valdes-Scantling.
Yeah, I mean, other than until Xavier Worthy gets back from the shoulder injury, then you're gonna learn exercise. All right, so we've already done my 5, my 4, and we've actually done my 3 as well, because my 3 was the Chicago Bears. Reebs, I turn it over to you now for your number 3.
Yeah, my 3 is the Vikings. This is just another spot. I'm long on the Vikings. I think the Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFL, like on all 3 sides. I like that. Listen, the first half of that game last week, JJ McCarthy looked like he hadn't played football, like real football, in 2 years. And he comes out and throws that pick 6 on the first play of the third quarter. And then it kind of all just like he settles in. They find a rhythm because, KOC is a coach I believe in. And then, obviously we believe in the Brian Flores side. And I'm really just concerned about what we were concerned about the Atlanta offensive line. And it was a disaster in week 1. I mean, absolute nightmare. Elijah Wilkinson, who was not even supposed to be playing either. He's the third option to play at right tackle. The dude allowed 5 pressures, had 2 penalties. The Falcons had to adjust their entire offensive game plan around their offensive line. Michael Penix's air yards per throw were almost half of what they were as a rookie. They just were getting rid of the ball quick. And then it's basically going to be a similar thing, against the Brian Flores defense that we just, talked about, with the Bears. So this is just the spot, with them going on the road. I think Minnesota's I just think Minnesota's a better football team. So I'm just betting. These next three are just where I'm betting on the better football team early in the season.
I mean, I don't even think it is particularly close. We got like a horrible PROE out of the Falcons in that game against the Buccaneers. They were -2 PROE. I think that is just like a classic misunderstanding of the strengths of your team. You should be trying to build around what Michael Penix Jr. is able to do. Now, I guess Darnell Mooney being out mitigates that because they had some true jamokes running routes.
KC Washington.
Casey Washington, Ray McLeod. They are going to be getting Mooney back this week. I mean, this one did not make my list, but I'm realizing now, thinking about it again.
I don't know, maybe I should have stopped it with 49ers.
No, I think I'm wrong. Actually, thinking about this game a little bit more, because one of my priors heading into the year was first that JJ McCarthy is probably being a little bit underrated by the market based on what Sam Darnold did. I mean, we saw Sam Darnold without KOC not play particularly well in that road game against the 49ers. Not that I'm leaving the Seahawks like for dead or anything like that, but I think Sam Darnold is certainly who we thought he was. You know what I mean? It's not as if there is this player inside of Sam Darnold that was waiting to be discovered by KOC. I think they intelligently did the right thing moving on to JJ McCarthy. McCarthy looked awful, brutal in the first half. You just look, I don't know if he was scared. I don't know if he was nervous. Maybe KOC was keeping the handcuffs on him. Like, it really would be hard for me to say.
It was the balance of the run game, right? Like once they got the run game going, you could see like him play off of it. Maybe McCarthy's going to end up like in that Jared Goffian zone where like he just needs like the place, like he needs to play off that marriage of the run game, because that's kind of what he was in college too. Well, it remains to be seen if he's just gonna be like a dude that can just drop back and you feel comfortable with winging it 50 times. But I also think they're going to run the ball better here against the Falcons. Like there's a couple defenses that were good in week one that I don't generally still believe were good. And maybe I'll walk back on a few of these defenses like over the course of several weeks. But what Tampa Bay did, and their offensive line was banged up too, and what they did structurally, I think really helped the Atlanta Falcons. This is not a defense I think, particularly on paper, I believe is going to be that strong. And I do think that Minnesota, with their offensive line upgrades, are going to be able to run the football in this game better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ran the football against the Falcons in week one.
Yes. And I just want to buy on KOC. I want to buy on McCarthy. I want to buy on Justin Jefferson. Obviously, once they started throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, look, man, it turns out you throw the ball to Justin Jefferson and good stuff happens. I
do think for fantasy, I'm a little worried about Justin Jefferson. And I say a little worried in the context of Justin Jefferson's awesome. And like, because the one thing I was worried about because we had like a really good wide receiver one pool this year of players, like talent in fantasy. And the one thing I was worried about was like the signal of Minnesota, like they want to be run heavy. I just kept thinking, I was like, man, they are really signaling they want to run the football. And he only ran 24 pass routes in week one. And to this point in his career, he's averaged 37 pass routes per game with his lowest routes per game in a season is 36.4. Like we might lose like 100 routes over the course of the season for like Justin Jefferson's career. And that you're not scared of Justin Jefferson still performing. He got there at the touchdown. He still had 35% of team targets. It's just in the context of like him versus Puka Nacua, him versus a CeeDee Lamb, like might just finish with like a lot fewer route opportunities than those guys.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. I mean, I've never hoped that you were more wrong than you just said.
I know. Because he's a ball. That's my favorite football player to root for. I think he's the coolest player.
I agree. He's just the best. I love rooting for him. I love watching him. I also think he's like too good of a teammate to do the throw me the damn ball thing that other guys of his talent level, would do. But you never know. And also, like, I think that there's more to be done with him in like the screen game and the quick pass stuff that other teams do. Because you see this a lot with, they'll do this with Chase. If things are getting frustrating for Chase, like they'll be like, okay, well, we'll just give you an end around and we'll do whatever. And they don't do much. They don't do much with that with Justin Jefferson. Only you know what Justin Jefferson is, Reeves? He's an ethical hooper. It's all ethical. None of it is fake stats. So that was your 3. We've done my 3. The Chicago Bears. What is your 2?
My 2 is the Broncos. With this just being 1.5.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's still a long bet against Daniel, like the Broncos defense versus Daniel Jones, right? Like, and I bet against Daniel Jones last week, and I got absolutely killed. I'm ready to go back to it still because I hate myself and I'm a masochist, but it's still only. I actually do like the Colts like infrastructure, but I still think the Broncos are better than at least the field goal team than the Colts. And I think Bo Nix is better than what he showed in week 1. I did like what Big Lou did. I actually was like a little bit talking about like the Colts defense. I was like, I think the Colts defense will be better than people think because Big Lou, they spent a lot of money on the defensive side of the ball. Their defensive front was already good. It was their secondary and Gus Bradley were kind of like the 2 big problems for them. And then, they spent money on Charvarius Ward. They get Cam Bynum. He had a pick in the first game. And then you still have, some really good pieces on the defensive front, like Buckner and Luatu. Like, that interception Tua threw to him was absolutely terrible. But I still believe that the Broncos their brand of football is really good for when they're like these short periods. Like they're not going to have 4 turnovers. I think it was a testament to last week that they were just able to win that game because they were like, hey, if our offense sucks, like our defense is dominant. And it's still Daniel Jones versus defense. So that's kind of just like all I'm thinking about is like Broncos D versus Daniel Jones, 1.5 points. That's really it.
Shout out to Jordan for the 5 gifted memberships. You're the man. So this one is totally a buy the dip situation on the Denver Broncos. So like we have a lot of evidence that Bo Nix is probably already better than Daniel Jones at the NFL level. Now he was very bad in that first game. Like Bo Nix did not play well at all and kind of got lucky to get out of there.
If they play anyone else, they lose that game, right?
Yes. And it's hard for me after 1 week of evidence to go, Shane Steichen has something that's going to work here with Daniel Jones because the team that they played against is like coalescing in upon itself like a like a star exploding. Like they're going to black matter. You have Tyreek on the sideline complaining. Mike McDaniel just seems like the most depressed coach alive. The interception that Tua threw to that defensive lineman, I mean, that is like a high school quarterback interception. But we also have this huge sample of Daniel Jones being like a way below average NFL quarterback who like eats sacks, doesn't know when to scramble, like not an accurate deep thrower. I think you are.
Yeah, I mean, what do you take away? Because it was the first time in regular season history that a team scored on every single possession they had. Like it was like since the 1970s. And like, do you think that's a Daniel Jones stat or do you think it's a Miami Dolphin defense stat?
I mean, the thing is that I was led to believe that at least the front 7 of the Dolphins defense was supposed to.
Did you see the Bradley Chubb quote?
No, I did not see the Bradley Chubb quote.
Yeah, he just basically, because they kind of like, he after the game basically said like, well, we weren't even running the defense. Players were just playing how they wanted. Like in week 1, dude, they had a players only meeting after week 1.
Not ideal to have a players only meeting after week 1. I would say, like, if I would think of like something that would be good, I would not think of a players only meeting after week 1 being good. But Gretsch actually had this analysis in Ceiling Signals that I thought was pretty interesting. Of basically just being like, I don't know, man, Tua plays a little bit better, and it's a totally different game. I
had the same thing. I wrote it up. I thought their offense actually was fine.
Yeah.
And obviously in the context of being bad, fine. But here's what happened to them. Like they opened the game. They have the 2 terrible turnovers, right? And the game state's already thrown into kind of a weird thing, right? On the 3rd drive, they go all the way to midfield, and then they stall out, they punt. So halftime, they had 3 possessions the first half. It's 20-0 at halftime. Their opening drive after halftime, they go all the way across midfield, and that's the interception he threw to the lineman. So they're down 23-0. Then the next drive, they go all the way down to the Indianapolis 31, and they have a turnover on downs because they have to press to score the touchdown. They get the ball again, now down 29-0. They go 65 yards for a touchdown. It's the last time we see the first team offense. So after the opening drive with 2 bad turnovers, they did move the ball. Like they were moving the ball. It's just they ran 49 plays. I also think about too, like, because I couldn't put the Dolphins on my card, but like we've seen these teams get blown out in week 1 and bounce back. It's always been like a historical, like old school, like Vegas better thing. Like if a team gets blown out by double digits, like last year we were in the same boat. Cleveland, Washington, the Jets, like all lost by double digits in week 1 and then came back and won in week 2. I also thought the receiver usage was what we wanted. I mean, I know you just delete this part of the podcast. But dude, I'm going to play the shit out of Tyreek Hill this week, especially with no Christian Gonzalez.
And A-Chain.
A-Chain's a little scarier, I think, with the 2 offensive line injuries, but I have no problem with it.
Nine receptions, brother.
Yeah, you're going to get those catches. On DraftKings, you do it. But Hill had a target on 27.3% of his routes. In the first half of that game, he had 43% of the team targets and 59% of the air yards. And through 3 quarters, he was averaging 2.4 yards per route run. They didn't run any plays. Those rates were well above his rates a year ago. So no Christian Gonzalez. The Patriots gave the most explosive pass plays in week 1. I'm worried about the offensive line. I'm worried about the state of the Dolphins in general. Like, this is not a bullish signal on the Dolphins at all. It's just, man, I feel like we've got to go to the ugly duckling spot. Like, this game feels like it's way undervalued in terms of going over, right? This game is a 43.5 point total. When these teams played last year, when Miami wasn't even good, it was 50, 2 through 4 touchdowns the last time these teams played. It was even the good Dolphins. Like 43.5 feels pretty low for this game.
I can agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I would say both of these teams probably.
Because May, you feel good about May, right? In week 2, like going up, going back to May.
And I don't feel very good about the Patriots defense.
Yes. I said no, and Gonzalez hasn't practiced all week. So like he's probably not up to this point. Yes. And you have the goofy Miami thing, because it's we talked about this before. You have the weird home field advantage early in the season for the Dolphins, right? Because the way they built the stadium was the opposing team has to be in the sun the whole game. So you have this early kick where the whole team's in their dark, because the Dolphins are going to wear white uniforms at home. I guarantee it. They always do this early in the season because the home team gets to choose, and they always make their opponents wear the dark uniforms and they just stick them in the sun the way they built that stadium. It's the weirdest thing ever, but that they're allowed to get away with it. But they always have like a really good advantage, early in the season in these home games.
Yeah.
And that all could be 99% cope. The Dolphins could literally just be on fire. I totally believe that that's probably the most probable outcome. But I'm going to definitely be firing this game in a single digit small field. Like I'm absolutely playing like a May, Boudet, Hunter Henry, Tyreek, Achane team.
Yes. So all of that is to say, no way to know how good Daniel Jones is. Just no way to know.
That's it. We were talking about it. Yeah, we're just trying to do
and it was a good digression to have. All right, man. Are you ready to have your heart broken here with the second pick with my number 2? I'm thinking maybe this won't be on your list. I have the Philadelphia Eagles minus 1.5 point against Kansas City.
Oh wow! I'm not touching this game from a lines perspective, but I'm surprised.
How are the Chiefs supposed to compete, Reeves? Let's say the Brett Veach calls you up, says, Reeves, you're an independent consultant for this game. We'll pay you $1 million if we win this game.
Your entire life, though, has been built on if Mahomes is a dog, you just do it.
I mean, dude, he's throwing to Hollywood Brown and Tyquan Thornton. Like maybe if Jalen Royals was active for this game and like they had something there, Royals isn't going to play. I don't think they're going to put anything extra on the plate for Brashard Smith. Like I think, honest to God, this is my guess for what the Chiefs' game plan is here. A lot of short stuff to Kelsey, a lot of Kareem Hunt, they would love, and you know what Andy Reid would love here? Love a 14-play touchdown drive. He would just, dude, if they could have a 9-minute touchdown drive. Now, one of the big Chiefs advantages here is that they're going to have, like, Spags is going to have Jalen Hurts in prison, like passing the ball. Like, I do not think that Jalen Hurts is going to have a good passing game here. And I don't even think Barkley is like this could be such a 17-14 game. Like just like neither of these teams are going to want to put anything crazy on film. You want to know what if you're a Chiefs person and you want a reason to be concerned, Andy Reid calling one of the good plays in week 1 is not good. Not good that Andy Reid did the Brashard Smith crosser, Travis Kelce tight end leak play in week 1. That's a playoff play. That's an AFC Conference Championship play, and Reid burnt that
It was a
in
sick
week
play
1.
though.
It was a super sick play. I mean, it's basically the only way you're going to be able to get Travis Kelce open.
It is a bummer watching this version of Travis Kelce because he's like trying so hard to get us like juiced. Like,
Yes.
obviously they're just the Kelce's are selling everything right now. But like,
Yeah,
it's just so sad. It was his lowest target share in a game since 2017. Like, just in a game where they had nobody.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They had no one. They had nothing. 16.
He's going to be 36 in 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks. He turns 36.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, I think pretty clearly from the evidence of Hollywood Brown having 16 targets, this was supposed to be a big Xavier Worthy game. Instead, it turned into a big Hollywood Brown. Well, big in scare quotes. I just like the Chiefs are they're worse at every level. They have a worse defense. They have a worse offensive line. They have worse pass catchers. They have worse running backs. I mean, I do think that Mahomes is a lot better than Jalen Hurts, but that's it. That's it. That's all you got.
Man, Kevin Patullo was one of the other coordinators. He did a really poor job, I thought, in week 1 too. A lot of these it was a big theme. Like Tanner Ingstram was the only dude I think that did a good job. That was the first time play caller. All the other green play callers really struggled. I really did not like what Kevin Patullo did in that Thursday night game of that opener with just the static shotgun drop pack passing game, like no pre-snap motion, no movement, no play action, just let Matt Eberflus like play umbrella coverage, didn't even try to do anything creative. It was frustrating because Spags is, I believe, rungs above Matt Eberflus, so like I'm curious to see what happens.
I mean, Spags, if I end up being correct and the Chiefs lose this game at home to the Eagles, I'm not really going to put much on Spags' plate. I think Spags,
yeah. Oh no, no.
Spags does a great job. As someone who roots for the Chiefs, there's no one else I would rather have calling plays for the defense. I just wish that, honestly, really, and I think at the end of the day, like even if the Chiefs do start 0-2, I think at the end of the day, my panic meter for like, can the Chiefs make the AFC Conference Championship game again? It's still really, I'm like, I don't know, man.
I mean, they have to eventually not make it. Like it's gonna
Eventually, they will have to not make it. But if Worthy's able to work back from the shoulder, they get Rashi back from suspension, they figure out something. I think one thing they might do in this game is they might start the guy from the 49ers at right tackle instead of
Jalen Moore.
Jalen Moore. Yeah, I think they might do that.
Jawan Taylor, like they've got to pull the plug on this. Like this is like 3 years running where the dude has 4 penalties a game. Like he can't pass block. It's just been sunk costs. Like you just got to eat the sunk cost at this point.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it brings me no pleasure. Like I think this sucks.
But what if Adoree Jackson's on the field?
So then what? You're going to target him with Tyquan Thornton? What does it even matter? What, like, the larger issue with the Chiefs offense is back-to-back years, they basically, after a game of football, have had no pass catchers.
And I bring no joy in this because I was kind of like the one pumping the brakes on like, hey, like you guys are still chasing ghosts with this offense. And because like, if Worthy doesn't get hurt, like I just don't know. So like there's no back pat there. But like it's like this is like a 4-year sample of like these guys like not like playing offense this way.
No, they were still really good.
I guess. The first year without
slight revisionism, they were still really. I mean, Mahomes won MVP with 42 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah, the first year
that Tyreek left. But yeah, I mean, we are now at like a 40 game sample of the Chiefs not being very good on offense, being much closer to league average, and basically everything good.
It's just so much work for them to get explosive.
It's so much work because it's all Pat. It's all from.
And he was sick, dude. And he was sick on Friday night. Like he made those 2 plays.
Dude, I will never, for as long as I live, If you
The
guys
elite
ever catch
quarterback play
me,
in week one, like the good quarterbacks in week one, they were
yeah,
putting clinics on, man.
absolutely. If you guys ever catch me saying a bad word about Mahomes, I mean, just shoot me because I just like everything that guy does. To me, he walks on water. None of this is a negative statement about him. It's truly a what do you want him to do? What do you
Yeah.
what more do you want him to do type
I hate to see it.
situation?
I hate to see it
Yeah,
for you though.
you do hate to see it. All right, that was my two Reebs. What's your one?
Oh, my one is the Chargers. This I'm just in. I'm just ready. All I needed was
Okay,
one game. All I
all you
needed
needed
was
was
one.
one game.
Well, because like last year, I was like kind of looking at the way everything happened, and I'm like, oh man, Herbert throws the 4 interceptions. They can't run the ball at all in that game against the Texans, and I'm like, man, like, was there a crisis of faith for like Harbaugh and Roman, like after that game, where they looked at each other and was like, this isn't the football we want to play. And they spend the bag on Mekhi Becton. They bring in Najee. They use a first round pick on a running back. And I'm like, man, are they about to do like the Harbaugh Roman thing? I was like, let's see it. Because they did throw a lot in the back half last year, but I was like, is this just circumstantial? And are they going to revert back to Harbaugh Roman stuff? And then they come out in week one and they just like are winging it, dude. They're just throwing the ball. They were 14% pass rate over expectation, 15% on first downs. And I'll tell you the exact moment I was like, this is all I need to see. Second possession, the Chiefs punt the ball to the Chargers 2-yard line,
Mm-hmm.
and they just drop back and throw on first down from the 2-yard line because that's early in the game. Like you can just try to like, be cautious and like just try to flip field position, right? And like they were like, no, and that was they dropped back. I was like, oh my, I was like, this is it. I was like, it's real. This is all I need. Proof of concept. This is all I need. Like this is Herbert's team now. Like they Harbaugh, like this is it. Like they're good. This is a throwing team, and they looked great, man. And also, you can throw better, like with these offensive line injuries, than you can run. When we talk about all the offensive line injuries across the league in Week 1, Tristan Wirfs and Caleb McGrary and Rashawn Slater, like these teams still found answers in the pass game. It was like the run game where they really, really felt the loss of these players. So putting the ball in Herbert's hands was excellent. I think they are just like and you're getting them. That was against the Chiefs. That was against Spagnuolo. We just talked about. Now they're going against this Patrick Graham defense that the back end still looks awful, right? Like it still looks
Right.
terrible. So I just think they're going to shred them. We might not have like 100% Bowers if he does play. This game does look fun. I think that the Raiders are going to provide like at least some push through the passing game, but the Raiders can't run the ball at all. This is like 2 years running. It was in the preseason. Ashton Janty averaged negative yards before contact per run. He had 19 carries, 15 of them he was hit behind the line of scrimmage. Absolutely dreadful. They can't run block. It's gonna be put in the hands. So if they just don't have a full Bowers too, like I'm just in though on the Chargers. So I think the Chargers are about to make like a pretty good run here.
Oh, man.
And we've been here before.
I was gonna say, buddy, there ain't no way this will ever go bad.
That's no way.
No one has ever been all in on the Chargers before, and then immediately been all out on the Chargers. Right? That's never once happened in the
Rest
history
advantage
of
at
football.
home, which their home field doesn't matter for anything, but
All right. So the first reason that this is not on my list is just any Chargers related thing. It's just like I'd rather not. The other thing
it's Harbaugh though. It's Harbaugh.
It is. I mean, this is a good. Not. I would not take the Raiders. I don't have the Raiders. I'm actually surprised that that my number one didn't make your list at all, though. So maybe this will be good content. Well, it's happened last week too. My number one was not on your list either. I actually was kind of encouraged by how well Geno played. Like, Geno.
Yeah, Geno's good.
He's such a dog.
He's a stream, and in fantasy, like you can play him this week. He's streaming. Like that game. We're gonna because there's 2 Monday night games this week. That first game is gonna be terrible. But that so a lot of people might go to bed if you're on the East Coast and not make it to that 10 p.m. game. But the 10 p.m. game is gonna probably be good. Like there's gonna be fantasy points scored at that 10 p.m. game.
Yeah, so that's my number one. My number one is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2.5 points on the road against the Texans. What have the Texans done to earn being favored here, dude? Someone please tell me what CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans have ever done to be in this spot. They are just an actively bad football team. They are a negative PROE team that's running out Xavier Hutchinson and Justin Watson instead of bringing out their 2 rookies, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll. They gave Nick Chubb in 2025. They gave him 13 rushes in that game. They also didn't use their 3rd-round rookie that they traded multiple future picks for, Woody Marks.
They didn't use any of their rookies.
They didn't use any of their rookies. Instead, you know what they did? They gave Dare Ogunbowale a carry when the game was still within their reach. They could have still won that game, and Dare fumbled. What you get, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I think basically up and down, the Texans are the most overrated team in football. You see this, Reeves? 2nd worst graded PFF offense in week 1. Right. And there's a lot you can go into that. You could do, oh, it's the offensive line's fault. CJ Stroud, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So first off, they go to 11 personnel base, right?
Yep.
That's like the big thing they did. But when you go to 11 personnel base and you put in Justin Watson, you're not doing anything. You're not adding
Xavier Hutchinson.
You're not adding a vertical element to your offense. You're not making life easier for CJ Stroud. You're not making life easier for Nico Collins. You're not making life easier for your running back. You're basically taking off a guy who can block for a guy who can't block and can't get open. There's just no point.
And you're not, and when you play 11, you're not helping that offensive line. Like you're
no,
I mean,
no. I think this is, I agree with Chad. This to me feels like a classic wrong team favored. Not that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 1 were like anything to write home about. I thought they had some annoying stuff on their offense as well. But like, I don't know, Baker versus Stroud. Like, give me Baker. Baker's most recent 2 years in the NFL has been way better than CJ Stroud's most recent 2 years in the NFL. The Buccaneers have better skill position players. The Buccaneers is Vita Vea playing this week?
I haven't seen his practice stuff yet.
Yeah, I just want to be short on the Texans, and the Liam Cohen absence, I think was pretty clearly felt in week 1.
Both of these coordinators I thought did a terrible job in their first game. Absolutely terrible job. Baker threw 2 absolute dimes that kind of masked a lot of the bad things that happened that Josh Grisher did. I mean, I don't disagree with you here. It's just that this game's so gross. I hate it on so many levels that it's just like, I'm not touching this game.
Yeah. Totally fair. Yeah.
This game, I hate everything that both these coordinators did in week 1. Like so much. Just
the concept of this version of the Texans being favored against.
That's fair. Yeah, this team, and I get the whole thing. Like when you look at Nico Collins and you're like, hey, well, they knew this is Nick Caley's first game, and you're like, hey, you're down Christian Kirk. The other team knows too, but it was also, you had a chance to show, hey, I can scheme my guy open. This is what I bring to the table. We need to get the ball to this player because we don't have Joe Mixon. We don't have Christian Kirk. We're trotting out Justin Watson, right? Like for all these snaps. You have to be able to get the ball to Nico Collins as a coordinator. Like you have to find a way. Like we talked about, like if Jamar Chase is in the football, you got to find a way. You got to find a way. And like he just failed. He failed that first test. It was gross. Absolutely disgusting.
He did. All right, Reebs.
Disgusting.
We're locked in. We won our Survivor last week. Where's my Reebs?
We did. I almost tried to talk you into the Patriots. That would have been terrible.
That would have been bad.
Yeah, I saw the chat say neither guy is playing. Don't listen to Todd Bowles.
Yes,
Wirfs himself let the cat out of the bag too. Because first of all, Todd Bowles tried to do like a gamesmanship quote of like, hey, these guys could play Monday, and then they asked Wirfs, and he was like, I'm looking at week 5. Like they wasn't even on the same page as Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
The reason they didn't put those guys on the PUP was so they can be involved in like this like mini training camp for these guys, so they can like ramp up, because they wouldn't have been able to.
Survivor this week, Reebs, is tough because the obvious pick is the Ravens, but the Ravens are obviously a crazy good future value team. They've also
lost a game to the Browns each of the last 4 years.
Week one last year.
It was Jameis's first start last year. It was a Cedric Tillman caught the game-winning touchdown. It was like it was Jameis's
2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Week 1, they lost to the Browns.
The Browns have beat them 4 years ago. As bad as the Browns have been, for some reason, they pull one off. No, you remember they beat the Ravens 2 years ago. It was Deshaun Watson didn't throw an incompletion in the second half. He has like
My
the only
goodness.
good moment he had as like the Browns passer.
Yeah, it's very tough. I'm not loving the Lions here for the
I don't like to
aforementioned
take the
reasons.
division games either in
Yeah,
the survivors.
yeah. I do think the Steelers are in play. I do think the Bengals are in play, but that feels
Yeah,
like
Rams.
super
Rams. What about
sketchy.
Rams?
Rams. I mean, Rams does just feel like, no disrespect to Cam Ward and Bill Callahan, but that did not go well on this entry, on Reeves and I's entry that we're
We
doing for
did
the giveaway.
Broncos.
Yes, so that if any of you didn't know, this entry here, right here, if Reeves and I win, I'm sending 10% of it to one of you guys who is in the pool. If you didn't register for the pool, that's on you, brother. I gave you guys lots of opportunities to do so. We could take the Cardinals. I think that is in play against the Panthers.
I don't know. They scare me. They played a pretty close game with the Saints. Like the Cardinals are terrible. Like for Survivor, they scare me because like they never want to blow a team out. Like even when they win, like it's
Even
always scary.
taking the Cardinals last week, we had a sweat. You know what I'm saying? Like last week, we had to sweat with the Cardinals against the Saints, dude. Just brutal. What about the Chargers, man?
I could do I would be into Chargers too. Rams do feel good.
Rams do feel good. I mean, the most popular pick this week is going to be Dallas. So if you look at if any of you guys use this, I'm not saying this is like the greatest tool on earth, but this is just Survivor
I do
Grid.
like Vikings too.
Yeah.
Vikings.
Vikings are low future value team. Dallas is like a 0 future value team. Dallas is not favored by more than 3 on a look ahead line at all. They are not favored by
Dallas
more
does
than
feel
3.
good because you feel like you might get the in-game quarterback switch. They have the rest advantage as well.
I like, you know what? I think I just talked myself. I'm not going to, I don't feel so good about, because I have 10 entries in this pool. I don't feel so good about any team. I probably won't take more than
Yeah,
3 on
Dak
any
has
team.
beaten the Giants 13 straight. Maybe that's terrible because it should end the unlucky 13, but they have won 13 straight with Dak started against the Giants.
Okay. All right. I think we do.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's use the Cowboys because we won't probably like you said. It's just there aren't going to be many spots where you feel like you're going to use the Cowboys. Where Rams, Vikings are good teams. Like these are teams we might want to use again.
Yes, and this is not this pool has 230 entrants or so in it. So it's not like we need to start getting insane. Like we there's just really no reason to start getting giga minded. Now, if you are in this pool, it is worth noting, if you are looking ahead to strategize, you have to make 2 picks in week 4 and you have to make 2 picks in week 13.
I like those.
So
I like those. Yeah.
it's the week 13 that you need to sweat. This survivor tool right here, this is free. It's called survivorgrid.com. I've used it forever. I have no affiliation with them. I just whatever. It just is a nice, easy
But if
way.
they do want to sponsor,
but if they do, hey, Survivor Grid, reach out. I would love to do that with you. All right, man. Let's cook ourselves up a little pick'em sweat. And the Jahmyr Gibbs longest rush. Finally,
no, we're
comes to an
down
end,
bad,
man.
dude.
We're
down bad.
We're down bad. Oh man, I was so tilted last night. Last night was like the most angry I've ever been at Cliff Kingsbury, because at least with Arizona, when he was in Arizona, you could tell yourself, you're like, oh man, well, maybe Kyler's just really bad. Maybe it's all Kyler's fault. Last night with the Commanders, I was like, dude, a good offensive coordinator has this game with like a puncher's chance for his team. Cliff was so bad. All right, where are we starting,
I want to start with Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, what?
Either yards or longest run.
No longest run up for Breece on Underdog yet. I like 18.5 receiving yards.
I do like the rush stuff that we talked about. Okay. I mean, they're going to be run heavy.
Let's do 64.5.
Okay. I bet this at 54.5 and the base is 58.5, right?
Yes. Yeah. Just get a little extra slider in there. All right.
That's my first pick though. I'm doing Breece Hall first.
Breece Hall. I want to do George Pickens' longest reception, 21.5 yards. Thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I have no problem with it.
Okay. It just feels like first he is the most annoying guy alive. The one that he got the defensive pass interference called on, that he just could have so easily scored a touchdown on that play, but he let the defender hold on to his arm and he tried to do the one-handed catch because he's George Pickens and that's what he would prefer to do. But that was pretty self-evidently able to be a touchdown. All right, we have Brees, we have Pickens. Where are we at?
I want to go back to one that we actually had hit last week. I want to do Brenton Strange again.
Yes, we did hit this one last week. 31.5 receiving yards, 3.5 receptions.
Ooh, I like both of those because they're going to get pushed. Like the Jaguars in the second half just never had to do anything. So I do think as road dogs, they're going to have to throw the ball in this game against the Bengals. And the Bengals, again, well, a team that we targeted for just multiple tight ends last year, come out and give up 10 catches to Browns tight ends in week 1. So I can do catches or yards here. I'm fine with it. He did lead the team in receiving yards too, which should never happen. But
no. So we're gonna go receptions.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Well, my analysis of that of the way that Travis Hunter was used and the way Strange was used was Cohen would like to get Lawrence coming into the games with a little bit more confidence. Like I think he wants him to complete a lot of passes early.
He was good in the first half of that game, to be fair. And then when they kind of went away and like Trevor Lawrence had to do the more going downfield stuff, that's when it kind of, fell apart for him in the second half. You have the things right here. So yeah, in the first half, Trevor Lawrence was 14 of 19 passing, and it was all, and his ADOT was 4.1 yards downfield, like you said. Just that was the Cohen offense, like getting these short throws, you stay in a rhythm, you stay on time. And then after halftime, his air yards per pass attempt was 12.1, and he went 5 of 12 in the second half of that game. So, and also Al Golden, his first game with defensive coordinator for the Bengals, called a similar game to Matt Eberflus called for Dallas, where he was like, we're not going to blitz. We're just going to play shell coverage. And that's why the Browns, like Fannin and Sampson, had a lot of catches, because everything was just underneath with the way the structure of defense the Bengals were playing. So I think these short throws are going to be another part of it. I looked at Lawrence's completions, but they were kind of juiced. I think Strange is the way to play it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with all of that. All right, let me toss out. I want to see what Devin A-Chain's receptions are. So it's 4.5 with a multiplier. I actually like that. I think that is a great way for them to deal with their offensive line. Or we could just do receiving yards or touchdown. Do you have any thoughts there?
I would prefer I think they're outright just receiving stuff.
Okay, you want to do
it's lower hanging fruit. Well, I love running back receiving markets anyways. Like quarterback rushing and receiving markets are like my jam. So
yeah,
and these low tight end ones, I love. Like these are the things I look for.
Yeah, let's do receptions.
Bijan's like that too. So my hot take, I wrote up and I said caveat 1 week that Bijan is this year's Achane, because if they can't run, like they're just going to do the same thing, but they're going to circumvent him like with these short passes, like the Dolphins did with Achane last year. Where if he's going to have an inefficient rushing season, he could be Achane-esque from last year.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so we have Brees higher rushing yards. We've never taken a lower. George Pickens higher longest reception. Brenton Strange receptions. Devin Achane receptions. What do we have next?
Do you want to do what is the Bijan receiving stuff?
I bet it's 3.5 receptions and 24.5 yards. 3.5 receptions, 5 yards.
Nailed that shit.
Pretty sharp, Davis. Yeah, I know this ball. I'm good with either of those actually.
Yeah, I'm good with either too, because Brian Flores, again, it's be similar to the Todd Bowles. Like you're going to get a lot of stuff that's going to change post snap. I think they're gonna have to try to get the ball out quick again. So yeah. I do like those are pretty solidly low.
Let's just do the receptions.
Okay.
So that is 5. I'm trying to think about some of the other spots. Oh, I wonder what the Caleb Williams rushing is. If it's like 29.5 yards, I'm out. 25 and 5.5 rushing attempts. 5.5 feels. I mean, what was his scramble rate last week? It had to have been insanely high. Like I bet his scramble rate was above 10%.
Oh yeah, it was. I have it written.
I've got it. I've got it up right here. His scramble rate was 6 of 44 dropbacks. So actually not quite 10%. I don't know if I love that one. That's just like a good line.
Yeah. Well, this one's your pick.
Actually, this is
I
easy.
saw you talking to Jacob about going back to James Conner.
Yes. You know what? That's actually that's my favorite. James Conner's like my favorite again this week. I'm going James Conner touchdown. I mean, that is I think against Carolina, that is well,
I'm going back to him too.
Unless you want to do rushing yards. Rushing yards or
I'm
touchdown.
going back to him this week too. You know, a lot of people are scared about the Trey Benson stuff, but they actually got rid of they phased out Amiri DiMercato like entirely.
Zero.
So,
didn't play on offense.
so they
Benson
actually so what happened is James Conner sacrificing a few rushing attempts like in between the 20s for more pass routes and like more access to receptions, because he conceded some in between his 20 touches, had all the high value touches, and ran more pass routes into the last year. So he doesn't have like a combo, does he?
No, he does. 81 and a half total
Yeah,
yards.
that's kind of All right. Well, I'll let you pick it because I'd say you talk about, because I'm back on Connor again this week too. You know, week 2 DFS, for you gamers that haven't played, like, you know this too. Like, the flop lag stuff is always like week 2 is always a pretty profitable like betting prop DFS week because people overvalue what happened in week 1.
Yes, always. Literally always. Okay. You know what? Actually, Reeves, let's just do the receiving yards. Let's do 13 and a half receiving yards. That's
whatever you want. Wait,
yeah. That's one good scamper. All right. It's on you now.
What is this, our last one, or we have 2 more?
You got this is your we have 2 more total picks, one from you, one from me.
What do we want to do here? What do we have? What about I think a guy that's going to go overlooked this week is Tyler Warren.
Oh yeah. Tyler Warren, 30% first read target rate last week. 4.5%.
So my pitch on Warren this week is that we were in the same position a year ago. Do you remember? Like, Bowers was cooking the opening month and everyone was playing him, and then they were like, we're not going to play him against the Broncos. And then, like, he had 100 yards. He opened the game with like a 50 or 55 yard touchdown.
It's the touchdown that is in the intro.
Yes.
Is Brock? It was a bad coverage, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? It's that touchdown. Yes.
And if the Broncos defense, which we know is good, is going to make Daniel Jones get rid of the ball, like, he's not going downfield. So
yeah, 8 for 97 and 1 in that game. Love it.
I do like, and in DFS, like, because people are going to be jamming back Fannin. Like, I think Warren in DFS, like, he might be my number 1 tight end after McBride.
I will not be taking a McBride touchdown on Underdog. I will.
From the guy that's handle is Go AZ Cards.
All right, we've got one final one here, Reeves. This is my biggest stand of the week. I wish they had a fantasy points for Amon-Ra St. Brown. They do not. I'm going to take the higher on 66 and a half receiving yards for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Last week was the lowest target share that Amon-Ra St. Brown has ever had in a game. Other than, I think there was like 3 games where he played like 4 routes or something.
Like his rookie year. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So there we go. This is a 144xer. And I will recap that here for you good fellas. We have got Breece Hall higher than 64 and a half rushing yards. George Pickens longer than 21 and a half yards for his longest reception. Brenton Strange, 3.5 receptions. A-Chain, 4.5. Bajan, 3.5 receptions. Connor, 13.5 receiving yards. Tyler Warren, 4.5 receptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 66 and a half receiving yards. There is a link in the YouTube chat. There is a link in the description as well that is saved if you're watching this on replay. Reeves brother, Sharp Football Analysis. If someone wants the worksheet, if someone wants to watch you hang out with high-low, where can they get that this afternoon?
Yeah, well, I wrote up every game and every player. Went extra this week because, it's obviously week 1 where, everything means everything and nothing, everything
Sure.
could be nothing. But like early on while everyone's engaged, they want to know what happened. Like they see the highlight of Isaac Tesla catching a touchdown. Well, we want to break down too that like, he did only run 3 routes and like those types of things like that we lay out. And it was pretty good last night for the breakdown of the game. Tucker Craft stuff came out good. You love to see it. Tucker Craft, demon, love him. But yeah, you can go over Sharp Football Analysis if anyone is interested in checking out. You for like weekly stuff, and then you use promo code Sharp35. I also record with Hilo at noon. We do a show called Searching for Ceiling today, and I do a show with Pat Corain at 2:00. We did not name it, and we're going to try to let the chat name it because we both suck or are uncreative. Corain was like, dude, what should we call the show? And I was like, buddy, I was like, my signature article sounds like homework. I don't know what I'm doing. So help me out. And he was like, yeah, mine also is terribly named. So
yeah. Legendary Upside is really good from Corain. That is a cool name for an article, but the walkthrough and the worksheet, both of you guys,
SEO, we failed.
The SEO is not very good.
I actually said to my team 2 years ago that they could rename the worksheet. I said if you guys wanted to rebrand it, I would be down, and they kind of did it.
Hey man, that's sad. That's sad. They should be doing that.
Well, it's SEO. You gotta play. I'll play the SEO game a little bit. Like I'm not gonna sell myself out on Twitter to a high degree.
You should.
I'll play the SEO game a little bit.
No, I don't always do the flex, but on these 8-leggers, I've done the 7 of 8 long enough to want to do the flex. All right, Reeves, I'll let you go back and have 30 minutes before you go hang out with High Low. I'm gonna make a couple more picks here.
Good luck, everyone.
We'll talk soon, man. Yeah.
All right, guys. Good luck.
All right, boys. There we go. That is one Mr. Rich Hribar. We are going to make a couple more selections here over on Underdog Fantasy. We are going to do the Hateful 8, which is all lowers. We're going to do all touchdowns. We're going to do a super slider. We're going to have ourselves a nice little afternoon. And then I'm going to go do the 4for4 show with John Bressel, Neil Orfield, and Pat Corain. So I think first off, we should definitely do the Hateful 8. Which is always, look, it's a very good time to do the Hateful 8. And I think that we need to begin with Russell Wilson, a player who I think has significant in-game benching risk. And I wonder what there is even available for Russell Wilson. The easiest in my life, I'm going to take the lower, actually higher on interceptions thrown for Russell Wilson. Easy start there. We're going to do higher on Russell Wilson. Which is still technically part of the easily still technically part of the Hateful 8. Let's go now. Another one that I think is pretty easy. I kind of want to take a David Montgomery lower. I like the lower on rush attempts, but what we're going to do is we're going to do lower than 53.5 rushing yards on DeAndre Swift. I thought that DeAndre Swift looked, honestly, just horrible in that game as an interior rusher. I would be surprised if this is a good bet. Where do we think DeAndre Swift graded as a rusher after week 1? It's got to be so low. DeAndre Swift as a rusher he's not even on the first page. Oh my goodness. DeAndre Swift rushing grade on PFF after week 1, the 74th graded running back. Oh, the 74th graded running back. He generated a 50.9 PFF rushing grade. He generated 2.18 yards after contact average. Yeah, so there we go. We have lower than 53.5 rushing yards there. Ooh, I'll be very interested to see what we have on Ken Walker and Sharps, because I think there is kind of an interesting angle here with Charbonnet and with Walker where you could totally fade the noise or go all in on the noise and take the Charbonnet higher and the Kenneth Walker lowers. So we have 44.5 rushing yards for Ken Walker. What do we have for lower than 3.5 receptions for Cooper Kupp? That is quite strong. 43.5 rushing yards for Sharbs. Yeah, I think we're going to go lower than 3.5 receptions on Cooper Kupp. Guy just looked unbelievably washed. Bills lowers might be potentially interesting if this game just kind of gets in the mud. I wonder what Keon Coleman, 46.5 receiving yards. Is there, kind of like a Dalton Kincaid lower, a Josh. What was Josh Palmer's route rate last week? What do we think Josh Palmer did in terms of route rate? I want to say his might have been a little bit lower. So let's go Buffalo Bills route rate. Palmer was 75% of the routes, 23% targets per route run. He generated 11.1 PPR points. I think we're doing Josh Palmer. GM Ross Cusick for becoming a YouTube member. I salute you, sir. I salute all the YouTube members. Thank you, fellas, for keeping me up and running around here. Yeah, we're going to do that. We are going to take lower 33.5 receiving yards on Josh Palmer. This should not be a crazy drop back. Yeah, I definitely would have lost Palmer last week. GM Ross, thank you for joining the channel. Jacksonville, Cincinnati. I don't really want to take. Whoa, what does Gesicki and Fant have? 2.5 receptions for Gesicki, 1.5 receptions on Yoshi Voss. Is there anything for Noah Fant lower than 2.5 receptions? Yeah, send that. That is free. Oh man, do not make me hate on AJ Brown. Don't make me do that. Noah Fant lower than 2.5 receptions. That's a good hate. What was the usage like, particularly between the Patriots backfield? I wonder if there's a hateful 8 on Ramondre. Ramondre played 66% of the snaps, 47% of the team rush attempts, 43% routes, 13% targets per route run. I wonder if there's something there. I actually think there probably is. Can we get a Ramondre lower receptions? Ramondre lower than 8.15 fantasy points. Ramondre lower than those are pretty low. Those are pretty low. Javonte lower longest rush. That's pretty funny. Nick says it's going to be a heavier Henderson week. We'll look at Keenan here in a second for sure. What about Patriots routes? Because the Patriots routes were a bit of a mess last week. Booty and then Diggs, Douglas, Hollins. I wonder if there's anything there. Potentially a Booty lower receptions. There might be, honestly, I feels like there's enough questionable there to not know. We could take some lowers here. We could take Bateman lower receptions potentially. Juice Kareem Hunt longest rush lower. Pretty strong. Okay, let's go. What about Bateman route involvement last week? I bet it was 77%. Nope, I was wrong. 86% routes, 17% of the team's targets. Wow, they really did they just used so much tight ends. Tylan Wallace with 23%. Bateman, can I take Bateman to 3.5 receptions? Yeah, take Bateman at 3.5 receptions and take the lower. We'll just go ahead and eat the multiplier there. New Orleans. Is there a New Orleans lower? That is interesting. Oh, I would like to take lower on any of the tertiary 49ers. They're not going to have anything. They don't have any tertiary 49ers to take the lower on, which is probably right. Ooh, a potential Denver, Indianapolis. Man, Dobbins lower rushing yards. Dobbins lower rushing yards might be it. The Denver backfield was just in general, Broncos lowers. 62% of the rush attempts. There's no way. And he only had 30% of the routes. J.K. Dobbins lowers are looking potentially generational here. Lower than 2.5 receptions. Yeah, that's all day. Lower than 2.5 receptions for J.K. Dobbins. Maybe, yeah. that one could be bad because the Beatty stuff could go away. Harvey could play more, but Tyler Beatty ran 26% of the routes. Maybe this one is misguided, lower than 2.5 receptions on Dobbins. That one could be misguided. Maybe we do away with that one. I do kind of like the higher on rushing attempts there, actually. What else? I think we're gonna ride it. I think we're gonna ride the Hateful 8 there. Is there anyone I would love to hate on Kareem Hunt? It's so funny they have Xavier Worthy even posted there. Can we take a Kareem Hunt lower? Kareem Hunt longest rush 8.5. My goodness, that is so low. Maybe lower. So the thing about Kareem Hunt was the third down back for them. I mean, I hate to tell you guys this, but Kareem Hunt was the third down back for the Chiefs last week. Look at that, dude. It's disgusting. Long down and distance, 83%, 21% of the 2-minute drill, 45% of the team rushing attempts, 36% of the routes. 1.5 receptions for Hunt is actually probably pretty good. Let's just take lower than 36.5 total yards on Kareem Hunt. That's 7. And then we have Carolina, Arizona. There's got to be someone. Chuba Hubbard not to score potentially here. Xavier Leggett lower receptions. Yeah, Xavier Leggett lower receptions. Again, that is all day. Potentially, yeah, Xavier Leggett lower than 3.5 receptions. All right, there we go. That is the Hateful 8. We are going to accept all updates. I don't know what the update was. We're going to do 5 on that. Russell Wilson, pick. Cooper Kupp, lower receptions. Palmer, lower receiving yards. Fant, lower receptions. Rashad Bateman, lower than 3.5 receptions. Dobbins, lower receptions. Kareem Hunt, lower than 36.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Xavier Leggett, lower receptions. That feels quite easy. Well, Worthy's not going to play, so there's no reason to take unders on Xavier Worthy. Trust me. I wish there was a reason to take unders on Xavier Worthy. It would bring me great joy if he played. Can you give any hope to us Pacheco truthers? I mean, eventually it just becomes untenable to play a guy as bad as Kareem Hunt. That's all it is. That's what I've got for you. It just becomes truly untenable to play a guy who is that bad. So there you go. I don't think Scattaboo is going to have anything in the lobby. Okay. Let's do our super slider. So we are going to begin with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I wish we could do a fantasy point slider, but we are going to slide him up to a 2x receiving yards. We're going to do James Conner. We are going to, I think, super slide him up to 109 combo yards at 1.71x. That already gives us a 10x for 2 picks. Those are 2 spots that I feel really good about in fantasy football this week. And we are going to take Jackson Smith-Njigba. I like his receptions. I also like his sliding receiving yards. Let's take him up to 99.5. That gets us to 40x. I don't hate the DK Metcalf stuff. What do we have for Travis Hunter, actually? Boy, I do wish that they had fantasy point sliders. Let's do 79.5 receiving yards for Travis Hunter. That gets us to 142. That is a nice little super slider there. Golly, you absolutely love to see it. Put that there. I will put a link to that. Man, Travis Hunter, I got to say, that on Underdog feels quite nice. I mean, maybe I'm alone in that, but Travis Hunter to get 80 yards, he was their leading target earner last week. So we have Amon-Ra St. Brown to 99.5 receiving yards. He's one of my biggest stances on the week. James Conner to 109.5 combo yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 99.5 receiving yards. And then Travis Hunter. These all feel very plausible to me. I mean, maybe that is just Friday. My brain has not been mangled by the negativity on Sunday, but my goodness, that feels really, really nice. All right, we're going to do our touchdowns now. We're going to take Chase Brown to score a touchdown against Jacksonville. We are going to take, I kind of want to take CD here. We are going to take Achane to score a touchdown against the New England Patriots. We are going to take why is it not letting me take the big dog? The big dog is grayed out. Do I need to refresh? Heaven help me. They don't let me. There we go. Big dog 0.77x. By the way, if you guys are following the Dog Bowl qualifications via Pick'em, the winning entry last week for DFS Pick'em was only a 15x entry. Really, really, really interesting. Okay, Derrick Henry 0.77x. We are going to take Kyron Williams at 0.79x. I do like that Puka one as well. Oh, okay. I'm thinking about that. Got to take McCaffrey at 0.83x. See the Derrick Henry. Why does it keep saying it's inactive? What's going on? What's going on there? Don't want to take. Oh, we got to do James Conner as well. Philadelphia, Kansas City. I don't like that one. Atlanta, Minnesota. What is Justin Jefferson? 1.07x. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to take Justin Jefferson. Tampa Bay, Houston. Bucky with a really nice multiplier. 1.28x. That is really strong. And then let me see if it'll let me add Derrick Henry back in. There you go. We have got an all touchdown selection here. I'm going to put 10 on this one as the standard. We have got Chase Brown. We have got Devin Achane. We've got Kyron Williams. We've got Christian McCaffrey. We've got James Conner, Justin Jefferson, Bucky Irving, and Derrick Henry, all to score a touchdown. Where can one find this best ball masterclass you keep referencing? It's not a best ball masterclass. It is a DFS masterclass. It is for the Battle Royale games that is on that are played on Underdog. You can find that at udmasterclass.com. Or I think it's DFS Masterclass. Yeah, dfsmasterclass.com. Here you go. Well, let me put the link to this one in the description and in the all TD octopus there in the YouTube. And then here you go. The DFS Masterclass is linked in the YouTube chat. Cameron, you can go and check that out if you would like. I believe, hold on, let me check. Let me check one. If you use code Davis, you can get 10% off. Code Davis is 10% off. So there you go. It goes from 120 to what is that, like 104 or whatever. Please do not make me do math live, but code Davis will get you 10% off that. You never know what code Davis will get you 10% off of. I would encourage you to try it wherever you can. Yeah, I am thinking there's no way that Xavier Worthy plays. Okay. Gonna change tack here a little bit, and I'm just gonna do straight up my 3 favorite plays. The first one is going to be 80.5 receiving yards for Puka Nacua. We're gonna take the higher there. We're gonna go Amon-Ra St. Brown higher than 66.5 receiving yards, and we are gonna go David Njoku higher than. Oh, is there a slide available? Yeah, we're gonna go 44.5 receiving yards. All due respect to Harold Fandon, who we are going to work in here a little bit. The route rates and stuff for Njoku stayed steady. Led the team, led the tight end position in routes, 85% of the routes, but only had a 12% targets per route run. But obviously the vast history of David Njoku on the Browns is that his targets per route run stays strong. 24% targets per route run last season for David Njoku, and 23% targets per route run the year before. Aaron, do not mock me on my own program. So these are my 3 favorite. Puka Nacua higher than 80.5 receiving yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown higher than 66.5. David Njoku, Watt is, let's do 33. Nice little round number there. 33 site credits on Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Njoku. Perfect spot for Puka Nacua. Should lead the NFL in targets per route run. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 66.5 receiving yards. I think we're going to see a huge bounce back from him from last week to this week. I think there's a chance that he leads the entire NFL in receiving yards this week. David Njoku, I expect him to bounce back to 23% targets per route run. There should be 50 dropbacks here for the Cleveland Browns. I really, really like this one. Bang. There we go. We are entered in on that one. I will share that with all of you as well. There you go. Those are the gold star plays, if you will. The gold star plays. Bada bing, bada boom. What if math is what you need? What if? Is Green Bay's defense just that legit? Yeah, Green Bay's defense is really good, but also Cliff Kingsbury, one of the worst coordinators in the National Football League. Not sure there is a guy who has been overpraised more than Cliff Kingsbury. All right, another one that I wanted to do was some of the quarterback rushing stuff. So I wanted to take Mahomes higher than 4.5 rushing attempts. I wanted to take Caleb Williams to generate higher than, yeah, you know what? Let's go 34.5 rushing yards. I wanted to do that one as well because I think that is an angle to take right now. Are there any other? Oh, let's see what there is for Fields. I just thought that one of the things I noticed this week was scramble rate in the NFL just way up. I actually don't love that Fields one. That Fields one feels a little bit high. C money. Oh, Herbert rushing yards. That is all day. Let's actually take him to 24.5 there. Yeah, gotta do that one. So that gets us up to 10. Is there any other obvious one? Because I think quarterback scrambling is just going to. Drake May. Drake May. What do we have for Drake May rushing? 25.5 rushing yards. We'll go 5.5 rushing attempts. That's perfect. I think that just these feel like some of the most exploitable stuff in the NFL right now. What do we have for Bo Nix and Daniel Jones? 5.5 for Daniel Jones. How many? What was Bo Nix's scramble rate last week? Bo Nix scramble rate. Go to box score, passing. Go to, let's just look at Denver. The Denver Broncos. Scramble rate, only 2. Only 2 for Bo Nix last week. But I think we're gonna do that one. If I can negotiate my tab here, 4.5 rushing attempts for Bo Nix. Because this is, by the way, these are structural. Because like if I'm right about the quarterback rushing stuff, it should sort of equally apply for all of these guys. These guys should all be like markedly more likely to scramble. I'm kind of scared about Penix. I know that he did scramble last week, but I don't really think they want him to be scrambling. That is 5. That's a perfect amount there. So let's do 10 on that one. So the over on Mahomes rushing attempts, Caleb Williams rushing yards, Justin Herbert rushing yards, Drake May rushing attempts, Bo Nix rushing attempts. There is a link to that one there as well. Are there any other themed ones that we normally do that we have not done up until this point? I don't think so. The QB rushing entry. I don't think so. We did the Hateful 8. We did the Super Slider. We did the Gold Star Locks. I think that should be good. Boys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I will be back here Well, I'll be back this afternoon over on the Swolecast channel with Soccer Dave. I'll be over on the 4for4 channel here in just a few minutes. Make sure that you guys like the video.